I know I'm not the only person who's ever been kicked in the teeth by a projector, but every time.
That's a new business. There's got to be a better way.
Yeah, there is.
Projector with one button.
Yeah, just get rid of the projector.
Does it?
Yeah. So that.
Are we moving and grooving here?
Yeah, I think so.
Anytime though, Gary.
Yeah.
Really? We have to ask Josh because it's not in this bag. Woo! Good morning.
Morning.
It's lovely to see you all. I haven't been here in weeks and weeks, it feels like.
Yeah, you need a report on your
A report? Okay. I'll see if I can work my way sort of backwards. Last week, I was in normal. Was that last week? Was that last week? We did the BN? Yeah. And we brought back a dude. He's over here in his brand new T-shirt from the company that he's got going on. That's like I'm gonna mess this up, but Bitcoin Regulatory Consulting. Yeah. So meet him afterward. Bitcoin. Do you know what that is? Me neither. It's a digital currency.
Hopefully he'll present and
There you go.
I don't know. Wait a minute. How about we have an opening June 24th. I'm going to put this guy on the spot right now.
There you go.
We have an opening June 24th. Other than that, we're booked all the way through July. What's that?
I never say no to business, so I'm in.
Right on. All right. There's June 24th. Now we're booked up through July, so 1 Million Cups is in great shape, and it was in, of course, great hands while I was gone. But we went to a Bloomington Normal. They have an angel and investors network, and they have a meetup once a month. Is that right? Quarterly? Quarterly. Yeah, and there's some pitches and some investors there, and they've got a nice little thing going on, and we're sort of carving a groove between Peoria and Normal, or Bloomington Normal. I call it Normal because I went to school there and I lived in Normal. And when you live there, you differentiate. So we're carving a groove sort of between Peoria and Normal to try to get like some it's like a buzzword from the 90s, synergy going, right? So we don't want to duplicate efforts. We want to strengthen each other's efforts. So that's where I was last week. Before that, I don't remember. Was that 2 weeks? I thought that was 3 weeks ago. I went to an entrepreneurship conference in Iowa. Oh no, I gave a presentation at Peoria Next the week before that. I talked about Startup Peoria at Next Innovation Center at the top of the hill. If you don't know where that is, ask Ross. He knows all about it. He spends some of his time there offering free business consulting services to Peorians, and Tazewell Countyans, Woodford Countyans, all of us. Central Illinoisans. You know, interesting about that, but we'll go right by it. Central Illinoisans, right? And then the week before that, I was in Iowa at an entrepreneurship conference, and that was spectacular. So I've been blogging about it a little bit, but I'm going to start kind of releasing a little bit of a time. So check out startuppeoria.com/blog, or just go to the homepage and click on blog in the menu. You'll be able to find out some of the lessons I brought, or I'm trying to bring home from Iowa. It sounds funny that there would be, and they make fun of themselves for this, but that there's an entrepreneurship conference in Iowa, but there were 1,000 people there. And that was pretty amazing. Their community spans 140 miles, so to go a half hour to Bloomington Normal doesn't seem like that big of an ask in terms of resources and activity. So that's what we're trying to do. A lot of stuff. Oh, Key Start happened. Did you guys watch that? Did you see that? Everybody, there's one thumb up. Chris was there. Jason was there. Ross was there. I'm not going to point to everybody who was there. That's probably actually everybody who was there. But it was super cool. We gave, or somebody won or was awarded a $5,000 investment because their pitch, or for whatever reason, the judges decided that they were the winners. So we're going to do it again, and then again, and then again, and then again. We have funding for 6 of these things, minus 1, so we have 5 left. We're going to do these monthly as long as there are qualified applicants. So now the ball is squarely in your court.
Tell us more about where they are and
Where who is?
what you would just talk about.
Yes, Keystart is a pitch competition that Startup Peoria is doing. That's me. And we're taking applications for new business ideas over the internet. And then from those applications, we whittle it down to 4. And they go in front of a crowd like this and a panel of judges. And they give their pitches. Then team 2, team 3, team 4. And at the end, the judges deliberate. And then we award a $5,000 investment. Now the paper signing takes place after the fact, behind closed doors, of course. But we have funding to do 6 of those, minus 1, so 5 more.
So where and how do we know about where they are and when they are?
You can go to startuppeoria.com and click on calendar. You'll find it there. Or I have a whole mess of Keystart resources on the website. So applications are due on Monday at midnight, or I guess Monday night, Tuesday morning at midnight. So if you don't have a business idea that could use a $5,000 investment, tell a friend who does. Please and thank you. That's it. What have you guys been up to? Is anyone here for the first time? 1. All right. Welcome. This morning we're going to hear from Lynette. Lynette is owner of World on Wheels.
Yoo-hoo!
Yoo-hoo. World on Wheels is a business that's is in the entertainment space in Peoria. Yep, and if you've ever been down in the riverfront during the nicer weather months, then you've probably seen Lynette leading a tour, and there's other novelty things that she has going on, which I will let Lynette tell you about. So please welcome Lynette.
It's all kind of simple the way it all began, and it began kind of in 3 phases. The company I was working for closed down, and I got relocated. I accepted a transfer to Chicago, and while I was there, I really didn't have anything to do because I was kind of there by myself and really didn't have any family. So we kind of hung out in a recreational facility. And it dawned on me at that point in time, and this was at least 15, 20 years ago. At that point in time, we didn't have a recreational facility here. So I'm like, we need to get one of those here in Peoria. So I began to develop a business plan for an entertainment center. I enrolled in ICC, Small Business Workshop, and I traveled across the country to Las Vegas, to the Fun Expo, and Florida to IAPA. Going to entertainment type of expos and functions, taking workshops, learning how to establish an entertainment facility. Anytime we went anywhere, I made my husband take me to facilities such as Dave & Buster's or Odyssey Fun World or those type of locations. I gathered all the information I could on the games that they had and how they set up their operation. A friend of ours, Alvin Richards, who is deceased now, he was on the fire department, he knew of another group of people who were trying to do the same type of thing. These people, of course, had plenty of money. I, of course, had none, but I had a plan, okay? So he kind of merged the 2 of us together and made some introductions, and I was working with them as a consultant and was supposed to have been managing the facility and working as a consultant once the facility got open. Lo and behold, September 11th happened. So at that point in time, things had to be rearranged, funding got cut. So, and then some of the original people who were involved in the venture were displaced. and me being one of them. And at that point in time, I had to find me a part-time job. So I went out, found me a part-time job. Still had time on my hands, though. And even though I had done the business plan for the entertainment facility, that wasn't all the ideas that, that I had. So there was talk about redevelopment of Peoria's riverfront at that time. And I ran across an old photo of some girlfriends and I when we went down to Galveston, Texas. And when you're on vacation on the beaches and things like that, you do things like bike rides and stuff like that. You do things you wouldn't normally do at home sometimes. So I thought, these would be kind of cute since we're redeveloping our riverfront. These would be kind of cute to put on our riverfront. And so I researched where I could get the quadricycles from, and I talked to a gentleman in Indiana who had his own welding shop, and he was building them himself, and they were very sturdy, and I liked his design. They were a lot more comfortable than those ones that you see on the beaches that sit up, where you're kind of uncomfortable riding those bikes and things like that. So I brought those back to Peoria after communicating with him. We operated what I call the bikes, as you see here, for 2 years, and then we went to the Detroit Auto Show. At the Detroit Auto Show is where I saw, for the first time, an electric car. And I was like, oh, I can do tours of Peoria on one of these, okay? And that was like when electric cars were just first becoming popular. As we came back from Detroit, though, we came through Chicago, and I saw these people on these funny little things in Grant Park. And I'm like, I'm gonna do tours of Peoria on those. And as you see here, that's where the idea for Segways were born. Because people were in Grant Park at that point in time riding around on Segways. At that point in time, I didn't even know what they were, okay? So I went around to all the dealers I could. I called them, started the process to bring them back to Peoria. I merged the two pieces of equipment together and made one business out of it. For the most part, at that point in time, businesses either had the bikes or they had the Segways. And now you can see that Bike Chicago and other locations, they now are also merging the two businesses together, using both pieces of equipment as part of their repertoire. Our business has evolved since those early days. People think all we do is stand along the riverfront and solicit bike rides, but we do a whole lot more than that. We consider ourselves ambassadors to Peoria because a lot of times the first face that someone will see when they come to Peoria will be us standing there on the riverfront. And we talk to people from many, many countries, who giving directions, just giving them a feel for Peoria. We've got our quadricycles that you can ride along the riverfront for a 30-minute ride or for a 1-hour ride. And then we also have our Segways, where we'll take you on a guided tour for a 30-minute ride, a 1-hour ride, or 1 hour, 30 minutes along the riverfront, 1 hour in the downtown area, and 2 hours going straight up Main Street around Bradley University, down Western and Moss, and back into the riverfront by the baseball field. That's an exact 2-hour ride. That's a historical ride that we have. And additionally, we're available for team building events. Cat Morton just brought their team for Segway tours and a scavenger hunt. We've gone out to the premises of Maui Gym and provided demos to their employees during their break times. We've gone to 5 Senses Spa out at Grand Prairie and done team building functions there. Cat Global Marketing had a team building event at Ravina on the Lakes, where we've done several events out at the Ravina on the Lake. We've done weddings out there. We've done team building functions out there. As a matter of fact, we'll be there again like around the 20th or 22nd of June. Caldwell Banker, as you saw a trailer. We do have 2 trailers now. Caldwell Banker of Lincoln, Illinois, did team building functions for all of their employees. They participated in parades. Horace Mann of Springfield, Illinois, we've gone down to Springfield and done team building functions with them at the mall, at Glow Golf. That was a fun kind of venture. That also sparked another idea, as a matter of fact. And last year, Comcast Spotlight, they came down and all their employees came out for a team building function via Segway. And we participated in 2015 Bradley Late Night BU this year for the first time. And we were eager to get that Bradley business. So hopefully, that, got us known to some of the students at Bradley. So hopefully they'll be coming down to bringing their parents down for Parents Weekend and visiting us as well. We'll come to your neighborhood for your block party. We've done the Lyndhurst Night Out Against Crime for the past 4 or 5 years. LISC allowed us to participate in the launch of their neighborhood initiative that they had in the Harrison Homes. They did one on the south side, and they also did an initiative on the East Bluff. And we participated in the south side initiative at that time. We've done Spring Grove Neighborhood Block Party. And we'll be doing the M&M Bike Tour this coming Saturday over in Mackinac. They have a bike tour and a wine sip and see, and we'll be participating. This will be our second year participating in the M&M Bike Tour as well. We'll do your family reunions. We just did Clyde Gully's Jefferson Gully family reunion the last couple of weeks here. And they were along the riverfront utilizing the bikes as well as the Segways. And then, of course, your church youth group, your church anniversaries. I think you may have seen some photos as right here. This is El Vista Baptist Church that you see here, where we were out at their church youth group at one point in time. Mount Zion Baptist has had us out at their church youth group and anniversaries for 3 or 4 years. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, we'll be at Faith Tabernacle for their youth event tomorrow, and that's off of Fennell and Gale. And then we'll conduct Segway tours and combine your team building needs with a scavenger hunt along the riverfront. Segway demos is also a unique addition to your bachelor or bachelorette parties. We participate in most of the parades. Bartonville Splash, 4th of July Parade, the Labor Day Parade, and the West Peoria Parade are some of the ones that we participated in. And the kids feel that that's kind of a fun kind of event to do, So I try to throw in some fun things for them as well, not just always standing there participating in marketing along the riverfront. And then, of course, our Segways are available for rent for special occasions and crowd control. Elite has used them for security and crowd control. Jay Goldberg has used them for ease of access at riverfront events like the Blues Fest and the TT Grand Nationals. Carl Bunkers used them at the Civic Center for things like the auto show and other events. They were used at the Women's Lifestyle Show. If you saw somebody gliding around at the doctor gliding around at the Women's Lifestyle Show. Northwoods Community Church has used us to do things like you saw Randon and Tori doing this morning, if you want to make a special entrance at an event. Same thing with the Chamber of Commerce. One of the presidents at that point in time, he wanted to make a special entrance at one of the State of the City events. So he utilized a Segway in order to do that. So we can tailor our equipment to whatever your needs are, okay? They say going into business, you go into business to make $1 million. Well, I've not made $1 million yet, but I'm happy I've accomplished my goal. My mission was to basically have a successful business, and even though I've not made $1 million, I do consider myself successful. Sometimes you've got to accomplish that mission God set before you in order to help others realize their mission. There have been people along the way who've helped us, who've been more than willing to help, and I couldn't believe the initial support that we got from the community and the support that we're continuing to receive along the way. Sometimes you've got to just take that first step, and there'll be people out there to help you. You got to place people in your path to help you as you go along. I know my limitations. I've learned to find people who know how to do what I don't know how to do, or that I don't have time to do. So things such as my website, my Facebook page, you can sometimes barter for those kinds of services as well. So in closing, I'll go back to my scripture, Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
I may have missed it, you may have stated it. If you wanted to give a party for like 50 people, do you have enough Segways to accommodate one per person, or you just bring out so many in time? How does that work?
What we do for things like that, no, we do not have Segways to accommodate one per person. But what we do for things like that is similar to what we do demos, similar to what we do like at the auto show. We would basically have everybody gather around and they would take turns. We would teach everybody how to ride, and then you would do demos, and you would basically get, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes on the Segway. Everybody would have opportunity to rotate and have opportunity to demonstrate.
So how do you charge for that?
It all depends on how many people you have, how long you want us there, whether you just want Segways, whether you want Segways and Bikes, or whether you just want the bikes. So it all just depends on what your actual request is. I'm sorry?
How many do you own?
We can take 6 people on a tour at a time with a guide. And all of our tours are guided tours. We don't necessarily let people, even though I said that individuals have used them for crowd control functions, we don't necessarily let you take off on a Segway and go off on a ride on your own. That has rarely happened. There was a guy that, Dave Sidak from Pip Printing, he's glided with us, I would say, at least 7 times. And each time he has brought somebody different. I had to make a tour for him. So he, as an individual, he could probably come down and take a Segway and go where he wants. Because I know he's going to be a safe glider. I know he's not going to go out and do something reckless, okay? So, and he's ridden enough times that he is familiar with the equipment and he could do something like that. There are 1 or 2 individuals like that, but I would not necessarily just allow anybody to take off on them and go. I'm sorry?
You mentioned team building.
Yes.
Can you give us some general rough idea of what it would cost us to bring some employees to do a team building?
Once again, it would depend on how many people are in that team, whether you've got 12 or whether you've got 30. Let's say I had a group the other day, and their main interest was taking Segway tours, okay? They wanted everybody to do a Segway tour, but they had more than 6 people, okay? So I combined the Segway tour with the bike. So I would take the few of them on the Segway tour, and then while they were on the Segway tour, the other individuals were taking a bike tour, and I provided them with a scavenger hunt. And in order to get everybody in, we did 3 or 4 rotations of that. So that was similar to like $36 a person or $38 a person, because they were mainly interested in the Segway tour, which it normally was a $30 Segway tour.
So are you saying, just to clarify, the total cost for the employer was $38 per employee?
Yes, yes, and they were there probably 3 hours. They spent at least 3 hours. Yeah, and like I said, that's an average. It's all tailored to how many individuals you have, what it is exactly you're wanting. Some other company may not want all of that. They may only want everybody to do demos on the Segway. So it is tailored to your needs. I'm sorry?
Can you talk about using the Segway on various different kinds of terrain?
Oh, wonderful. Yes. You can use them. This is a basic sidewalk model. We also have what's called an off-terrain model, and I don't think I've got any pictures of the off-terrain model. But this Segway can go on sidewalks, it can go in the grass, but it's not built for the grass, but it can go in the grass. The off-terrain model is built for the grass, for rocky roads, for anything, for the back roads, that kind of thing. As you go over changes in the pavement, you'll feel, different bumps in your glide. And that's part of the thing that I tell you when I train you. When you come down and take a ride, it depends on how many people are in your group. If it's 2 people, I could probably have you trained in 5 minutes. But that depends on you and how quickly you catch along, and how, because everybody learns at a different level. So it depends on the group. If you've got 3 or 4 or it's 8 people, it's going to take a little longer, okay, based on how many people are in that group and how comfortable everybody gets. Because it's my objective to make sure that you're comfortable and I'm comfortable, that you are comfortable. Okay? I'm sorry?
I got 2 questions.
Sure.
The first one is this just
To be.
Yes, it is.
Is that?
Yes, it is.
Is that a picture you pull down or just actually you got a chance to.
No, that's a picture I pulled down because I figured if the Beeb can do it, you can too.
And I'm like, I know that's.
And yeah, that's
Okay,
okay.
that was my first question. The second question, you were talking about tours. Are you thinking about expanding your tours? I know we have with the new sculpture walk and just with Peoria trying to promote, you know, our history and our whole Renaissance. Do you have any ideas and thinking about expanding?
Yes, absolutely. We would love to do that. As a matter of fact, the people involved in the sculpture walk, I've had some initial conversations with them. We did decide that once they got their opening completed last weekend, that we would now sit down and actually have a conversation about doing that. What I did last weekend was attend the sculpture walk, and I went by and talked to and had conversation with each and every one of the artists so that I could have personal knowledge of what they were feeling when they developed a particular piece or the background behind that particular piece. So once I developed my tour of the sculpture walk, I would have some personal knowledge of what to say about that particular piece itself. I don't know whether that's going to encompass just the sculpture walk, because that's for the speed that a Segway goes, that's probably a short distance, but I'm sure as we're doing other things, we're going to go buy some of those pieces of equipment. Yes, sir.
Can you talk about your training and some feedback that you've gotten from people about how your training differs from other people that have Segways, such as in Chicago and that kind of stuff?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. Okay, yes. Our training, as I mentioned, we take you give you about 5 minutes of training, and usually people have, if you've got 2 people, usually they pick up on it within that length of time. We teach you how to get on. The main things are how to get on, how to get off, how to make it go, and how to make it stop, okay? And you do have to sign my waiver, because if you go out there and you do something reckless, I'm not responsible for what you do. I'm going to train you so that you are comfortable and safe, and because that's our objective. We don't want any liability issues, okay? So we want you to be learned as much as possible to have a safe glide. Dave Sidak, that gentleman that I told you glided with me 8 times, he's also glided in other cities. He went out to Las Vegas and took a tour, came back and said, Lynette, I'm so glad we came and glided with you first. He said, because those people out there did not teach the people we were gliding with anything. He said, I had to teach those people how to ride because you gave me the information that I needed to assist them, the people who were gliding with me. So that's just one of the responses that we've gotten. And I have people who come train with me and then go to Chicago to glide. I'm sorry?
Can you talk about fitting? I'm a tall person.
Yes.
Is it adjustable for a height?
Yes, the handlebar is adjustable. The minimum weight is 100 pounds. Our minimum age is 14 on a Segway. The maximum weight is about 275 pounds. And the handlebar is adjustable. That's probably about as high as it goes. It might go a little bit higher than that. Yes, sir.
So it sounds like you've had a lot of repeat customers for like companies.
Oh, absolutely.
What about for individuals? Do you find that most of them come back?
Most definitely, most definitely. And if they haven't come back, they'll purchase gift certificates from us for somebody, for Christmas or for birthdays or something like that. Yeah, we definitely have had repeat customers. Yes, sir.
Great job doing good service. I think it's really important to kind of sell in Peoria, especially to what our city has to offer, so to a great service for especially those who aren't familiar with the area.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
I'm curious too, especially it seems like if I were a prospective employee that was coming to Peoria to try to learn about the city, that this would be a great service for them. What are there opportunities for you for recruitment of people who are kind of thinking about moving here for a job, or maybe it's big employers in town, or is there any kind of ways you can kind of capitalize?
Show them around.
Selling this to people who are thinking about moving here, I guess.
Can I ask you a question? Are you speaking of me recruiting people who are moving to town to work for me, or me utilizing my service to help sell Peoria to businesses who have people coming to town and showing a different way of showing them our city. I would love to do that, and that is what we do. We've done several groups like that. One of the gentlemen who comes to 1 Million Cups from over across the river or Bartonville or somewhere, and I've got to look his card up again, he's actually asked me to do that for him. A gentleman down here in the building, what's the name of that building again? We talked about once before. In that building next to the Hive, they want us to do that for them, because they have a lot of visitors come in from out of town, and they want to show those individuals a different activity, a different way of seeing Peoria. And we can do that, but as I mentioned, we only have 6 Segways, okay? And that's part of what I think normally, and I come to 1 Million Cups all the time, and one of the questions is, what can you do for me? One of the things that I need is someone to assist us in getting a crowdfunding campaign together so that we can purchase more equipment so we can handle more of those larger groups. Because I do get requests for large groups. And then I just have to think of creative ways of actually getting them served, because I don't have enough equipment. If you go to Indianapolis, if you go to Chicago, they take groups of 12 and 21 people at a time. I can't do that. I'm just in Peoria, and I'm kind of tapped out of money. So if anybody has any way of helping me come up with a creative crowdfunding campaign to probably raise funds to purchase more equipment. I've got a new trailer. I need to put a wrap on that trailer, those kinds of things. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
How much does the Segway cost, and how much does the quadricycle cost?
Well, the basic Segway is around, let's start here. You can find them on the internet all day long for $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000. But you've got to be careful that, the battery that they took care of the battery, that they took care of the starting mechanism, and that kind of thing. In other words, you get what you pay for. The way I use my equipment, I don't trust buying things secondhand off the internet like that, mainly because I want something that's new because of the type of use that I'm using it for, the everyday use that I'm using it for. And a new one probably would be around $6,500 now, a basic model. The X2, which is the off-road one, will probably be $7,500. But Segway has just gotten purchased out by a Chinese company, so that may even change. And they've coming up with a new piece of equipment that's lighter and a little less expensive, but I don't think it will be sturdy enough for the type of business that I do. I'm not sure yet because nobody knows. It's untested and unproven at this point. One second. You had another one? Is that good?
Tell us a little bit about your experience with getting started on the riverfront and regulations from the city.
Oh, yeah, regulations from the city.
Permits you had to apply for.
Oh, I had to do everything any other business does. I went to the city council. I sat at the city council meeting, presented my business plan to them, had to get my permits. Anything any other business had to go through, yes, I had to do the same thing. I wanted to do the same thing because I wanted to be established as an official business, as a serious business. I didn't want anyone to think that this was something that was only what I can come up with right now, a trifling business, a by-the-wayside business that was going to go away. I was here for the long haul, so I wanted to operate in that manner. Yes, I'm sorry?
Oh, I just want to know, where are these manufactured?
Well,
What do you have currently?
on the East Coast. They all came out of Jersey, off the East Coast. That's where Segway Corporate was at, on the East Coast. But as I mentioned, they...
Will that change under foreign ownership? No.
Don't know. And to finish up with her question, the quadricycles, what do they cost? Probably around the two-seater, we've got two-seat quadricycles, and we've got those that seat 4 people. Probably around $3,500 and $4,500, somewhere around there. Yes, sir?
Have you ever seen basically they're like Segways only without the handles?
Yeah, hands-free. Yeah, I saw them in Florida.
Oh my God. Have you ever thought about getting those?
No. No. I don't want that liability.
People are not to be trusted. So you already told us what we can do for you.
Well, actually, I got a couple more things if I can. What you can do for me? Oh, okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
What can we do to help you?
Great. not only somebody to come up with team building functions, but we need a grant writer. Because what I would like to do would be to get one of those Segways off of the internet, develop a class for students for camps, summer camps, or students to tear it apart and learn the technology of a Segway and put it back together. You know, just as a that's one of my goals, is to be able to go into, you know, maybe the Park District or some of these community centers and just have that as a function. Marketing, like I mentioned, those things that I know I don't know myself. Anything you see is done, I've done it by my bootstraps. And it may not be the best thing, but that's all I knew. Marketing, need somebody to assist with marketing, tell me whether or not I'm on the right track, I'm not on the right track, however, you know, whatever assistance you can do there. And then the last thing's referrals. Please think of us when you are having your family reunion, when your church is having a youth day or an anniversary, when you're when you've got people coming into town and you want to show them something, you know, just your own personal friends, you want to show them Peoria in a new and different way. I'm sure that Tori and Abby and Randon can tell you that they had a wonderful time yesterday. I hope that's what they can tell you. So, and it's a unique way of showing people our town. So referrals, birthdays, bachelor parties, you know, they come down and they'll do those kinds of things. So gift certificates, purchase gift certificates for Christmas and birthdays and Father's Day coming up, and those kinds of things. So if you can do some of those things for us, we certainly would appreciate that.
Lynette.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
1 Million Cups is sponsored by IdeaBox, creating momentum together. Check them out at ideabox.com. They're visual branding specialists. So your homework for the week is to tell a friend about World on Wheels, or to go check it out. We did it yesterday. Abby and I and Tori went to get a tutorial on, so we could ride in here and do a super sweet introduction like we did today. Thanks to the Art Guild for letting us twirl around on their floor. So that's one thing. And tell a friend about Keystart. Drink the coffee. That's
Okay.
it.
Now, one more thing. I'll be here for the half an hour until 10:30. If anybody wants to do a step up, we'll be outside. I don't know, can we do it in here?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it in here or you want to go
It's
outside?
safer in here.
Is it? For
There's-
whom?
I have no terrain.
Oh, you're not going to be riding around.
I can't speak for the Art Guild. I do
Okay,
know we
yeah.
have permission to go onto the corner.
Outside on the sidewalk. If anybody would like to step up, look, see how it feels, get a feel for it.
Here's the